All right, I could have gone to bed, but I decided to do a live stream with very, very little sleep and a lot of work ahead of me. Let's see, what am I looking for? Oh, here, I'll do this. Here it is. Oh, I just called it that. We changed the name. What's everybody up to? So we're just going to hang out. I didn't have time to prepare anything for today, but I figured I could answer questions. We can talk about stuff, and I'm gonna pull up a track I'm just having fun with. I'm gonna have to turn it down, sadly. I like to track pretty loud because I like the interaction. Hey, Bruce, I like the interaction with the guitar and the speakers, just like on stage if you have an amp or whatever. But yeah, I was just working on just for fun last week when it was slow. Let's see. Why is it everything solo? Weird. Oh, did I just hit M like that? Oh, okay. Hey, Bruce K, welcome. So, well, let's get some hellos going here. I'm not going to do a lesson per se today, but I'm sure we'll learn something. I always learn something. You were looking for dadgad stuff, yeah. That's funny because, in fact, I've got a video I'm getting ready to post that doesn't have anything to do with dadgad, but it talks about how the open tuning videos got me the subscriber that recommended me doing the 7 tips for older beginners. So that's the video that blew up my channel. Now, I think up until that point I had 8,000 subscribers, and then this person that had, I think he may have even been the same person that said, hey, do you do open? And actually the very, very first YouTube video I ever did was open D tuning, Bruce. So, hey, Sco, what's going on? So yeah, the very first video I did that I uploaded, I was just using YouTube as kind of a storage / delivery system, and my wife's husband, that's me. Yeah, okay, you keep in mind I haven't any sleep. I've pretty much been up all night working, so and I got to work all day today too. So but my brother-in-law, one of my brother-in-laws, my wife is one of 6 kids, so she's got 3 brothers, but one of them plays guitar, in particular 12-string, and he really, really likes Dan Fogelberg. And Dan Fogelberg, which I probably knew at some point, maybe back when I was teaching lessons in Indiana early on, Dan uses open D a lot, or did. And so Jeff was like, hey, I know how to play some Dan Fogelberg songs in open D, but how do I play like a B minor chord or a G minor chord or something? Like with an open tuning, if we're in open D, you can just take your finger and go like this and bring it all around the fretboard, and it becomes whatever that tuning is. So if you have an open D, then that's a major chord. These are all major chords. If you have open D minor, which is not as common, or dadgad, which is kind of like a D sus, then you're going to have sus chords up and down the fretboard. So it's difficult to, when you have a major chord, how do you make that minor? Because the note that's major is right here, and you don't have 6 fingers. If you had 6 fingers, you could go, okay, I'm gonna put my first finger on that one note on the 3rd string, and then put all my other 5 fingers here. I guess I could reach over and do something like this. But on a 12-string acoustic, that's not super practical, but you could probably do that. That's my bass tribe. Thank you, Joseph. Cheers. Thanks for the coffee. But I may do it right now. I could grab. Where's my acoustic? My acoustic's right there. I was just doing some kind of noodling around. Basically, what I'm doing here. It's funny because it was slow for a week, and I was telling Beth, when I retire, I'm going to be writing music and I'm going to be practicing. So I told you last week that I took a lesson. I haven't taken a second lesson yet because I still need to kind of woodshed the stuff that my teacher showed me. But I'm taking a lesson on flamenco Spanish style, strumming kind of stuff. Hey, yes, sorry about the post on Discord. I posted last night. What time was that? Like 1:30? Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go to bed tonight, so I don't know. But it was like, I laid down, and about the time I laid down, the sun was coming up, and I was like, I'm not going to sleep. Not going to happen. So I went to St. Harbucks. And so, anyway, I told her, I said, if I ever retire, and at some point I will, and it won't be by choice. It'll just mean, I always say I'll retire when the phone stops ringing. And the thing I would keep doing is I love to write music, create stuff, that, and then I also love to learn new things. So I know it's not easy. I see it on the comment section of my 7 Tips for Older Beginners. People, in their 70s and even 80s picking up guitar for the first time. Sometimes when I'm learning a new thing, it's like you can see the balalaika behind me, that triangle shaped thing. That's not played like a guitar. So like when I was trying to just get the most basic stuff with balalaika down, it was like, okay, this is a totally different technique, skill set. And here's the thing, it's not tuned weird. It's just 2 A's and an E, I think, if I'm trying to remember now how it's tuned, or maybe it's 2 E's and an A. That makes more sense. But the bottom 2 notes are unison, so it's like you only have 2 strings essentially, and that it's not difficult. But the technique that most balalaika players use is not like what guitar players typically use. So I generally leave things tuned like they're supposed to be tuned, and I try to play them as legitimate as I can. Now, I'll get out my regular pick for oud or something. I won't necessarily use a feather like they would back in the day use, or even that really long pick that I have a bunch of them. The guy I get my Middle Eastern instruments from, he sent me a whole pack of picks. But I try to be legit in that way. But it's just fun, So this teacher I'm studying with, he's a flamenco master, and so I'm working on my Resquiados, which is that stuff. I'm the one I want to get down. I'm actually better than I've ever been at it, so I have hope. And that's kind of why I like learning new stuff. It was so easy to learn new stuff when you're 15, 16, 17, 20, 25, even 30, 35. But older you get, the harder it is to learn new stuff. And that's I think it's just kind of encouraging that, okay, I'm not dying today because I got to get this down, The other thing is writing. And so what I've done is like for a pop artist, they asked me to replay something on guitar, and or kind of write something in the style of something, and they suggested open C, and I'm like, well, okay. So I said, let me tune open C. So C, that's like way down, C, G, C, G, C, and then E on top. So the only place you have a third, it's like a bunch of power chords, and then you have a third on top. And so I was just kind of experimenting and seeing if I can maybe write a song like a fingerstyle song, not a pop song. I already wrote the pop song, but the fingerstyle song using that tuning. So maybe in a little bit I'll tune it in OpenC and kind of show you some of the little things I've discovered. I'm just kind of fishing around for things, and anything I like I write down in just tablature, because if you're in open tuning, if you're in drop D, okay, I'll write music notation. But if I'm in OpenC, I'm not going to write music notation. I'm just going to write tab. It's shorthand, it's faster, and everything. So, all right. So let's see. I'm missing stuff. Oh, Woods. Good morning. I'm still recovering from my last surgery. Oh, okay. I'm a month or so from playing again. Dang. I'm assuming your surgery impedes your holding your hand. John went through that, right, John? You had surgery on your thumb. I hope you're playing. Yeah. Well, I'm 61, so I hope there's hope for a 63-year-old, because that's just right around the corner for me. I mean, heck, if you can play a stupid, like, blues scale, you can get that down, and you have a buddy that can play. I know I'm super gainy, sorry about that. That's just the way it is. This is, nope, not this. Oh, I guess I could get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, I'll do a different sound. Let me pull up a different tone. So I'm in Logic. I'm creating a new track, input 2, which is my electric guitar coming from my API preamp, which you can't see. And the API I like because it is just a preamp. I mean, it's got a gain knob, and then it's got like phantom power and a pad, which I have engaged right now. So I'm running the knob at 12 o'clock and the pad is engaged because I'm playing my humbuckers. These are pretty hot, so I don't want to overdrive. And then I'm basically going into Apogee Converter into Logic, and that's pretty much how I work every day. So I just opened up Guitar Rig. I'm going to Styles, click on Classic Rock, and then I'm just going to click on this one down here. It's Pete Won't Explain, which I'm assuming is, it looks like a high watt, so I'm assuming this is, I'm assuming this is Pete Townsend. But yeah. Someone can just play that. I guess you need to learn two things, okay? And we talked about this. I did a whole series on the blues, and you need to woodshed the blues, just the rhythm part, because it's a 12-bar phrase, which is unusual. Most songs are like 4, 8, 16, 24-bar phrases, or whatever, 16, 32-bar phrases. 12 bars is a little odd, but it's super duper common in blues. And I would, it's like, lyrically, you can help remember, but it's like, they call it Stormy Monday. They call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday's also bad. I mean, it's like they say the first line in the first 4, they repeat the first line in the next 4, and then they come up with a new line in the next 4. And that's not all blues, but that's very common lyric writing for blues to do it that way. So that can help you think 4, 4, 4, 12, all right? But if you can't just get through the blues, and, I've played with pretty good guitar players that will mess it up, and they'll do 11-bar phrase or a 13-bar phrase, or they'll go to the 5 chord too soon, or they'll go to the 4 chord instead of the 5 chord, or the 5 chord instead of the 4 chord. You just, the basic, and we've talked about this. I stripped it down to almost hardly anything, where it was like 4 bars of A. I think we did it E before. 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, D7. Back to A. E7. And then back to A. This is the most simple version of the blues I can think of. Okay? So I just did A for 4 bars, D for 2, A for 2, E for 2, and A for 2. And so you add all that up and it's 12. And I'm going to the 1 chord, which is A, to the 4 chord, which is D, and the 5 chord is, so it's just a 1, 4, 5 progression. It's only 3 chords. Obviously, we can make it much more complex. But if you can play at least that, maybe step it up a notch, do 1 to the 4 chord, to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, back to 1. Now to the 5, 5, 4, 1 to 5. And that's the turnaround chord. Now we're back to the top. You go to that 5 the second time you go turnaround. Okay, that one's a little more common, basic blues. But if you can't play that, no one's gonna want to jam with you. But if you know that, you can. It's fun. It's just fun. If you can get just a basic pentatonic scale, if you get that down, you can add the blues note. Get that down. Maybe I'll get it down someday. Or if you want, you can play the blues with the minors or the major 6 instead of the minor 7th, like B.B. King would do. Well, you can start adding things to it. I should probably come up with a list. Here's an order of things that you do. But the first thing you gotta be able to do is play 3 bar chords, or you can play open chords. You can play A7 here, D7, E7. You don't have to play bar chords. You can play open chords. But if you can play the blues, you can get together with another couple, 3, 4, 5 guitar players. You may be strumming the rhythm the whole day, but you get to listen to where everybody else is at, and you pick up stuff. You see what he does, and you go, oh, and then you see what she does, and you go, oh, wait, I never thought of it like that. Wait, why does he move the, and so those are all kind of, it's just fun, and it's community. Even if it's just one other person, you just get together and jam. You're both working on your skills. And the goal is just to have fun. If you're having fun, you're going to get better. If you're having fun, for me, the getting better is the fun. The work at getting better is the fun. The frustration of not being able to do something and doing it until I can do it. The first time I got that 5-finger raschiato, like 10 years ago, I was like, wait, did I just do it 2 times in a row? I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. Okay. So sorry, I've had my eye off of. I got my screen. I got the OBS over here, so I'm looking over here. I know I'm looking different. And yes, John, I was up. Emma called me or FaceTimed me right before I was supposed to go on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna sign off with my daughter who's about to get married, because I could do a live stream. So guitar anime. How many turnarounds is enough to know? I mean, that's just depends on you and the people you're playing with. If you're not bored with one turnaround, what do you care? If you just go to that, but you could, you could do jazzier turnarounds. You could do chromatic turnarounds. Like one that was real common was like. See, I'm just doing the last 4 bars. So I'm going 5 to 1. That kind of stuff. Here's the thing. You can learn some turnarounds. The other thing you can just learn is what I just did there was I just do on beat 4, going back to the 5 chord, I played instead of the E, I played E sharp or F. I kind of came down to it. I could have come below too. And these are things turnarounds are almost like, especially if it's just you and another guitar player, turnarounds can almost be like improvisation. You can go, hey, I'll try this time, or I'll do it this time. You might go, oh, I hear. Okay, that worked. I went the 5 to the 4 to the major flat 3 to the major 2 to the 5. You know, kind of did a 2-5-1 kind of thing there. And I'd never done that one before. I just tried it, and it kind of worked. So, yeah. So as far as almost better to get to a place where you can just experiment and discover turnarounds on the fly than to try to memorize 722 different jazz, blues turnarounds. I found, particularly for me, memorizing was never a good way to go for stuff. At one point when I was trying to learn jazz, I went, man, if I just had like 1,500 ways to play through a 2-5 progression, like I'm never gonna remember them all. I'll end up falling, on the same 3 or 4 that I like that feel good under my fingers. So it's more getting to the point where you're fluid over those rather than memorizing a bunch of phrases. I mean, it's always fun to go, like one of my favorites is Wes Montgomery did this. I love that one. It's a E minor to A7, playing the augmented, the 6 to the 5, or to the 1 chord, the 5 of the 1 chord. So yeah, it's so you could, if you leave it up to your imagination, there's almost an infinite number of turnarounds you could do. I mean, you can. Let's see. Where you go? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Now, the difference is if you're playing with a bass player and a piano player or something like that, then you're probably going to want to be on the same page there. But sometimes bass players can set you up. They might go, they'll chromatically lead into the 5 or the 5 of 5 to the 5 to the 1, whatever kind of stuff. So hope I'm not distorting. I mean, my tone is, what string size am I using? These are 10s, 10 to 46, if that's what you're asking. You've got too many oranges? Yeah, I've got lemons coming. And next week is going to be, this week is going to be blazing hot. Oh my gosh. We're going to be in the hundreds all week long. And that's not bad. I don't mind hundreds. But the problem is, a couple nights it's not getting below 80, which is not good. Oh well, yeah. I've got a dirty tone right now. So let me. How can I clean this up? Change. It's not very loud in here, and like I said, I guess I could turn this down, but then my voice would be quieter. Still seems kind of. Oh, you know what? If I turn this down, then I can go like this. But yeah, and then once you've got one scale down, you've got the again, like I said, once you if you if you can play that blues progression like 100 times in a row without messing up, then you're good. If you can do it 10 times in a row without messing up. I think I uploaded for that. If you go to my jam tracks, somebody want to look that up and see if they can find some of the blues jams tracks, and then we can post those links here. Yeah, it's bad, Holly, when it does that. Now it's been a very mild summer this year. We've had maybe 2 days over 100 so far this year, and usually by this time of the year we'd have 2 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks of over 100. So I'm not complaining. And Beth is going to be gone. She's going to be back east. So I'll keep the house warmer. I keep it cooler for her. But I don't mind it be, I can keep the thermostat at 80 or higher. It doesn't really bother me. It's worse at night when you're trying to sleep. But thank you. So the 5 of 5 is basically the 5 chord sets up the 1 chord, right? So when you're playing a song, let's say we're playing like that 5 chord really wants to resolve very strongly to the 1 chord. And in fact, if you look at the way I played this E7, if you play E and then put your pinky down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and you just go to the 2nd string and the 3rd string, you look at these two, and you got the G sharp here and you got a D there, and that's the crux of the E7 chord. It's the 3rd and the 7th of the chord. We call those guide tones. And the G sharp wants to go to A, and the D wants to go to C sharp, right? So creates a nice resolution. But if you want to set up, what if you want to set up the 5 chord? Well, the 5, if we were to go to the 5 of the 5 chord, and the 5 is if you count up 5 notes in the scale. So in A, 5 notes from A is E, so that E is the 5 chord. If we count up 5 notes from the E, we get B. Well, in the key of A, B is a minor chord. That's not that. There's no momentum going from B minor to E. It's a nice, technically this is a 2-5 progression right here, like jazz. And so in a jazz context, that's very common. But even 2-5 is kind of shorthand for just 5. 2-5 wants to go to 1. You can go back and forth between 2-5. But it's almost very much like just a 5 vamp. If I were just doing E7 vamp. The way I might solo over that would be very similar how I might solo over a a 2-5 in the key of A. So, but if we make that 2 chord major, now the same interaction, the same kind of movement. We have that one note wants to go down by half step, the other note wants to go up by half step. The same momentum that we have going from E7 to A, we have now going from B7 to E. So but when we do a 5 of a 5, we're technically leaving the key. But the 5 of the 5 in A is a B. So A is the 1, the 5 is E. If we count again, we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. In A, we get E. If we count up 5 from E, we get E. And that's where the circle of fifths also comes in, where you do that turnaround. A lot of times, what I do is if I want to do that turnaround as like a B section, where you're doing stacked fifths, I think, okay, if I go to the 3rd of the root key, okay, so the root key is A, all right? The 3rd of A is C sharp. So if I play a C sharp 7 chord, that's the 5 of F sharp 7. F sharp 7 is the 5 of B and 7, and then B7 is the 5 of E, and E takes us back to the root key. All right, and that was in the song Indiana, which was the chord structure for that song was used in 1,000 jazz standards back in the bebop days. Okay, so that would be the B section. So the A section would be. I'm not sure. And then 5 of the 5 of the 5 to the 5 of the 5 of the 5 to the 5 of the 5 to the 5. So that's that. So yeah, so the 5 of the 5 is just, you could think of it as go to the 2 in the key and make it a dominant 7th chord. So in the key of A, the 2 is B, play a B7 chord. There's no B7 chord in the key of A, but it does set up your, and that's what I did in that blues thing. I was like, so we get to the 5. See, there's another example of a turnaround, a different turnaround. But you know, that one, because you're kind of leaving the key for this chord, you might find it, whoever's soloing might go, whoa, oh wait, you didn't tell me you were going to do that. So, okay. Yes, you are Greek. And one of the composers I work for is sending me, he needs some more more bouzoukis. So you can hear, let's see, where was that? Oh wait, let me go here. I just did I didn't do it. A composer I worked for was interviewed on a game score podcast, and my name came up, and they were talking about bouzoukis. So this is the copy. Okay, so you can, if you want to hear Kate Remington, she has a podcast where she talks about game scores, and she interviewed Jason Graves, and this is actually, I didn't remember this. I thought we'd worked together before this, but it was the first time that he and I had worked together, and Austin Wintry recommended me. But on that soundtrack, I played both Greek bouzouki and Irish bouzouki, and I just ordered an Arabic bouzouki. So I've got a new bouzouki coming. That's kind of tuned like, it's 6 strings, but it's 3 pairs, kind of tuned like a cigar box guitar, I think, Bruce. I think it's just going to be root 5th root. I could probably do it any way I want. I could do top 3 strings of a guitar. I'm not sure how I'm going to string it yet, or tune it. I did pin the Discord. It's pinned. It says it says Iscord. It says Iscord invite link. Can I edit? Let me see. Let me do this again. I didn't get the D in Discord. Okay. All right. So I replaced the pin. Guitar Anime. I'm sorry. I missed something. What did you say? Yeah, exactly. When you improv turnarounds, how far can you screw the solos? Yeah, it's just, let's see. Sorry, I'm just going back and making sure I caught all your. Yeah, that's my point. Is yeah, you might mess up the soloist but I mean, if the two of you play together a lot, and if you want, you could literally do a chart where you have the first 10 bars are going to always be this, and then the first time we do the turnaround is kind of technically the last 2 bars. The last 2 bars of a blues is, you can sometimes refer to the last bar as a turnaround, but usually I think of it as the last 2 bars. You could have on the chart, you could have like 5, 6, 7, 10 different ways you're going to do it. You could even put them in the order that you're going to do it. You could be very consistent with it. You don't necessarily have to improv it. But I mean, I see piano players, you know, accompanying soloists all the time that just go off on their own tangent, you know. And a lot of times what they're doing is they're listening to each other and they're kind of going where the other one's going. If you've been playing together a long time, you really get that kind of intuitive thing happening. So, but as far as my job, like I don't work like the rest of you. Yeah, I mean, it never feels like work, but it is my job. I'll tell you that where my job is the hardest. It's fighting discouragement when you're not busy, and the last few years that's been a lot easier because when I get busy, I get really busy, putting in 12, 16-hour days, and then I work 7 days a week generally. So I'm working on weekends at the church, and like yesterday I was working all day after church, and then during the week I'm working for different people. And again, if somebody's not calling me to do something, if I'm not working on a movie or a game or working with a pop artist or something like that, then I'm probably writing. I'm in my studio writing. In fact, this track here, something I wrote. Now this is going to get loud. I got to turn that down. Wait, let's see. But like I was having fun creating like a Toto thing. Walter said he wants to play on it. No vocals on there yet. I don't even have a melody idea. But Walter said he wants. I sent it to Walter because he's a huge Jeff Beccaro fan. He goes, "Yeah, let me replace those drums." I'm not a pastor. No. I just play. I play guitar in at the worship band at my church, and been doing that for a long time. Led worship for a lot of years. It was one of the things I did to pay the bills. Was to lead worship. So yeah, it's a very. It's like very much hold the line ish. Yeah, it's triplet, piano starts the song. I even tried to go with the kind of that super compressed piano sound. Just to kind of just to kind of get that Toto sound. I think I start up high and then I bring it down. Yeah, the bass line. And verse I bring it down. Goes back to there. Guitar solo. I pull out some of the, to me, cliche kind of Lukather tricks. One of the things he does is a lot of times he'll take like I usually think of it as kind of like a D shape. Like that. I know. We can do what was that? What did I do? It was something like that. something like a pedal tone kind of thing. He also does. He does minor third bends, which always sound. I love this. Minor third bends. Let's see. That's more of an Eddie thing. I mean, that was just the first pass. I don't think that's a final take. I just was goofing around. But let's see. Okay, John, check you later. He's already gone. Whatever. You wish it was you playing it? Yeah, it's. That's one too. It's like a. That hitting the A note in two different places. That kind of thing is very, very, very Lukather. To me, I always think of Steve when I. And the progression, I wrote kind of a descending, almost. Yeah, so I don't know why I thought it was D major, it's D minor. But it has a B in the bass, then it goes to B flat, so it's just descending, you know. So in the melody, in the solo, I have to accommodate that. And I think that's only a progression for the solo. So also a very Toto thing to do would be to write a new progression for the guitar solo. See, I had to accommodate that. They got these cool, like, very 80s synthy sound. In fact, I've got to send that guy some more money. He developed these plugins that are actually free plugins, and they sound freaking great. So I've downloaded a couple of them, and that one's the it's a 26. It's a Korg it's a 3300. Yeah, Korg 3300. So 80s sounding, it's great. Oh, yeah, it's just British. It's just something I wrote. I was just having so, and this is one of those times where I literally wrote something just for fun. It wasn't for one of my clients, because I write a lot of music for TV shows and stuff. I just started goofing around because I wouldn't say I was bored, but I was just like, listening to Toto again for the first time in a while. I mean, this record was such a huge influence on me. This came out right before I moved to LA, so I was like, this is what I want to do. And it had all these cool pictures of them. I think I think this is center staging, maybe, or maybe music. I think it's center staging. But yeah, this is a rehearsal studio. They're rehearsing the tracks for, I guess, a tour or whatever. Or I don't think that's the studio, because that doesn't look like a studio to me. It looks more like a rehearsal space. But yeah, that was. So I'd say, it'd be fun. I was working for Walter. So I've been working for Walter. The drummer for our church moved to Nashville recently, last year. And because he has 4 kids, and it's just Tennessee, it's cheaper than California. It's just more family friendly, and so they have 4 kids, and so he moved to Nashville, and he's been working for this animation studio. In fact, he sent me. I should let you guys check out you should check out the music. Here he is. Yeah, he sent me the episode. I haven't watched it yet, so I gotta mute. So if you get a chance, you can watch this and go through and watch all of them. I think Juju Brain is up. Let me see if Juju Brain is up. That one I did a lot of guitars on. I did guitar. I mean, I do a lot of guitars on all these, but so you can check out that. That's Walter, and Walter's the composer with a guy named Mark Gasparo, and so they bring me in to do the guitars. Abraham Laboriel's playing bass on it. Walter does all the drums, and then sometimes they bring in string players and things like that. They have a budget for that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, they kind of bring me in after they've written everything, and then they. Like this last one, they didn't even have a chart for me. It was, I don't have my light on, do I? Look, there's the light back there. I'm like, actually, I thought it looked pretty good without the light. I think the light is actually not good with this camera. So basically, Walter and I, because we have fun talking and everything. We spent about an hour and a half on the phone talking about what I have the session up. I've got the charts in front of me, but there's no guitar charts. It's like a piano chart or a bass chart with some chords on it. And he's like, "Hey, do this there and do this there." And so I'm making notes. Okay, we're gonna do like a tango thing here, and so yeah. So I spend probably an hour and a half talking to him and about 30 minutes tracking the guitars. But it's always fun just to catch up with him. He's one of my best friends. And it's cool that he's included me in on. He may be watching right now. That's why I'm saying such nice things about him. Walter, are you watching? I'm gonna text him right now. He may jump on. Mid-80s, well, that's not bad. Upper 50s, that's nice, Sam. Yeah, sunny and dry, that's good. You had a lot of rain, I think, if I remember correctly, which is good. We need some rain. Hey, Phil, what's going on? Guilty of kicking in. Oh, that track's not available anywhere. No, I haven't even. I mean, Walter wanted drums on it because he loves Jeff Beccaro. Like, I don't know if it's Walter's favorite drummer, but see, I want to crank it, but I know it's. I mean, I could put it up on. I could put this up on like YouTube or something and see if somebody wants to write top line on it. But oh yeah, nice. Hey, Charlie B, what's going on? So yeah, this music is just, like I said, I was just like, I wonder if I could write. Now I may end up using it on a TV show or something like that. But I'm just, but if I can get someone to sing a top line on it, if I can find a good, if I can find someone that can write a good top line, then What's this? Oh, I have another solo on here. What is this one? I totally did the Rosanna lick, the one that's like, I love that lick. Oh my gosh, it's like what the heck did he do? I don't even know if I was it. Where? Okay, I'm gonna turn this back up and turn that down. It's like where he does that like it's all again. It's kind of based on the D shape. Like this is a C chord. He does that chromatic thing. I kind of have my own way of kind of going through it, but yeah, but like the Lukather bend thing is like if I'm in D minor, if you look at that D minor pentatonic, let's look at the top two strings. Those are minor thirds. So A to C is a minor third, and D to F is a minor third. Now I wouldn't bend those two strings. I might bend that second string, but the first string I wouldn't bend. I'd probably break it, but I could. You know, if I did a, let's see here. Should have been recording. Started. I should record. That was actually better than the one I did before. Okay, well let me drag this down here. Let me go ahead and take a track in here. Now it won't be as good. Oh, I'm gonna have somebody put vocal line on top. I gotta write the melody and the lyrics and everything. I know a million singers here that would totally do it. So, yeah. You know, in that last line, you know, that whatever I did, there was I could harmonize it. I could harmonize it or something like that. But yeah. So that's the other thing is like I knew when I wrote the song that I was going to have a guitar solo in it, and that doesn't happen very often. Although I'm working with this pop artist who's I think is going to be really big, and I'm writing some, like, I'm so happy because I'm writing like power pop. I love power pop, and I feel like every 10 years, like power pop, which is like rock but pop, it's like rock tracks with pop, it like I feel like, oh man, it's going to go on a 10-year run, and it never does. Oh, okay. Walter's at the dentist. Just did. That's funny. So he's getting his teeth. I don't know if he's getting them whitened or if he's getting them cleaned. He says he's sitting under a very bright light. I'm going to say, you're at a tanning salon? Yeah, so now let's okay, for one thing, that's a long solo. Like, I ran out of steam on that solo just then. How many bars is it? It's a 16 bar solo. All right. And so harmonically, here's what's, oops, no, I want to solo these strikes. Here's what's going on. It's that descending D minor over C, D minor over B, D minor over B flat. It's cool. Very 80s sounding, very Toto sounding. I have the synth doubling the piano. Which sounds kind of cool. That's a long solo. So the problem with what I did here was I came in good. I feel like I came in good. I came in with that minor third bend. I took that D up to F, which just creates immediate lift. I mean, again, you know, music is manipulation. I'm trying to manipulate people. And I've got tools that I can use. Melodic tools, speed, pitch, volume, all those kind of things are different tools that I can use to build a solo and to build momentum. The problem is, how do you keep momentum going for 16 bars? The tempo's 90. I mean, if it were 16 bars at 160, that wouldn't be so bad, but at 90 beats per minute, that's a pretty long guitar solo. But again, that was very idiomatic, I think, for the time. You know, and it's my song, so so you know, you know, this wasn't a bad solo. I like the one I did when I wasn't recording, which kind of bums me out, but that's all right. And the pianos is kind of doing this EF thing, which is cool because it's I think I did, was it? Which is cool because it's a D minor triad, and I'm going to a D2 triad without a third. So I'm playing a D, E, and A. So you end up with this kind of chopsticks interval multiple times throughout every measure. So it just kind of creates some tension there. And that, you know, we got the bass line going. Something like that. So yeah, again, first thing I do is I go up that minor third bend, root to the third, and the piano's doing that E note, so that is kind of a rub, which is nice. I like that rub because I'm playing an F and piano is going back and forth between E and F. And then I did this, and that kind of thing doesn't have to be in tempo. In fact, it's better if you do some kind of, like I'm falling off of that D, it's better if you almost go out of tempo. Right? So it's just like, creates almost like a devil may care kind of vibe. same thing with pitch. Eventually I'm getting to an E flat, which is totally not in the key, but it doesn't matter because everybody knows I'm going to that D note. But I feel like it's a strong entrance. Yeah, and then it's mostly just pentatonic. Mostly just blues scale from that point. And I might go down chromatically from the D to the C. And of course you got the blues chromatic where you go the B, the 5, the flat 5, and the 4. I don't know if I do that. I got to that B flat. I missed the B. I didn't hit the B, but I got to the B flat. So it's pointing, I'm pointing my musical finger at the bass line, showing that I know where the heck I am in the progression. And it's hard to keep track of that because we're not, that's not in the key, and then it goes into the key. So yeah, I'm only halfway done. Where do I go? Even here, I'm running out of notes. And I go to I go to that kind of, almost like a Cheap Trick thing, right? Or no, that's more like, it's like Freebird. I've devolved down to Freebird licks at that point because it's just so. You know, how would I, if I were to compose a solo? You know, part of me wants to go, okay, well, if I start down here, I can end up here. I got a lot of real estate. Doesn't mean you can't. You know, you don't need to start down low and go high. You can start in the middle and go down and come back up or whatever. But like if I were to, I like one of them. I started. I can start with this lick, but down an octave. You get that kind of, again, a devil may care rhythmically and pitch wise. You're like, kind of stuff. You just go to, like, I would just often just go to pentatonics there, because you say if the whole D minor pentatonic thing will work over every one of these chords. But if you can time that B natural and that B flat with the chord progression, which is the second half of the 4-bar phrase, then it sounds like you know what you're doing. But if you hit the wrong one at the wrong time, then it totally sounds the opposite of what you know what you're doing. There it is. Yeah, I missed it. Yeah, I mean, there's 1,000 approaches. It's funny because when I talked about in the past, in fact, I'm quoted on Bieber Fandom, but years ago, I worked on a track that with Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber that never came out, and they wanted a guitar solo, and Kook was the producer, and my friend Kook, and he was like, I want to put an 8-bar guitar solo in the song, and I was like, really? guitar 8 bars in a pop song? What is this, 1984, or 1983? And he goes, okay, now it's 16 bars. I'm like, dang it, because it's hard to write a 16-bar guitar solo. And but between Kook, who's a great singer, and then Justin was sitting there. It was literally the day we met. The three of us wrote a guitar solo that I thought was pretty good. But Kook, I think the song was in. Let's see, what was it? It was in E minor G. And he wanted to start on like the B note up here. He wanted me to start on. So he had me literally starting a 16-bar solo on about the highest note in the key on the guitar, and I'm like, oh come on, I don't have anywhere to go, But yeah, that was in E minor. This one. Yeah, see, I mean, halfway point, I'm like. So a lot of times what I'll do, because, I'm almost always working from home, but if I'm in a studio with others doing a solo, I'll just start going for it. Lukather said it, don't think, play. And so I'm trying not too hard to think about that B natural and that B flat. Because it makes for a better solo if you stumble on things kind of almost not too intentionally, because things sound intentional, at least to me. A lot of times I'll go listen back to a solo and I go, yeah, I feel like I'm trying too hard right there. But when I listen to Lukather solos, I never feel like he's trying too hard. It just feels like he's throwing his hands at the guitar and magic comes out, and that's the byproduct of not thinking but playing. And I think also knowing what you're playing over. Like, one of the things you don't do is like, oh, we want you to put a solo on this song here, right here's where we want to put, and you start noodling right away. No, listen it, and this is from personal experience. Don't play, listen. Just listen to the track and hear where it goes, see where the changes go, and see if anything weird is happening, like this progression. If I just started jamming over this, I'd think I was in D minor. And I'm gonna hit that B flat over the B natural, and it's gonna rub wrong, and it's gonna sound like a mistake. So that I would probably I would listen all the way through, and I go, okay, maybe map out some stuff and kind of get a couple things under my hands. But ultimately, what I want to do is I just want to kind of let it flow. Now that's part of the problem with 16 bars at 90 beats per minute. That's a really long solo. So if you're normally, a normal solo might be 8 bars, and I can change it if I want, but I like the challenge of having a long solo. But if I just go with my gut and my heart and the flow, I'm probably going to peak too soon. I'm gonna do an 8-bar solo, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need another 8 bars. What do I do? So I go, okay, keyboard solo now. That's what Toto did. They would go, okay, keyboard solo. It starts with the keyboard solo and it goes to guitar. The outro on Rosanna is just magic. I mean, I just feel like that's the best solo. Oh, D-Roo, what is the control in the DAW? Do you have a foot pedal, start and stop? No, I'm just space bar. See, and then when I'm soloing, kind of noodling over it, I'll find little melodies like that, like. I might do something like that, and that gets me through one of the 4-bar phrases, right? So if I do. Anyway, that's a long solo. Yeah, I would, you know, you could start out with something low too. Like a second, I could feel like. You got to get the game face going too. You know, you got to make faces. And then instead of go to the B flat, that would be too obvious to go to the B flat there. I might go to the E natural over the B flat, which is really cool. Creates that tritone, so let me do that. The tone I'm using is Guitar Rig, and it's pretty much a stock. Nah, I wouldn't say it's stock. I've changed it a lot, but it's the original name for this tone is 1993 Hot Solo Rig, and it's supposed to be like a Soldano amp with a compressor in front. I don't have the chorus on, but if I put the chorus on it even sounds more Lukather-ish. And then it's got a crazy delay, which you can't hear much, but it's like, I got that about 25%. And you know, it may be something like, I can always reamp it later. That's the beauty of this. So if I want to change the tone a little bit, but this is like, this tone inspires me. And I would normally, when I'm tracking, I'm playing really loud. Right now, I'm not playing very loud. So sometimes I'll stand up too, because when I'm soloing, I feel like I'm playing better. Yeah, sax solo. There you go. I could have Sheila put a sax solo on it. That would be awesome. But like. I need the drums. I just need the whole track. Here we go. Play off that. Let me try recording this. Sorry, a bit loud. No, what did I want? I wanted to go C first, yeah. I can turn down the, hold on, I can turn down OBS. Oh. All right. Now it'll be interesting to see. Sorry, I've got to actually go to work. A movie I'm working on. They need some tracks. It'd be interesting to see if the song triggers a copyright infringement. That's one way to check if I've accidentally stolen someone's song. But this is 100% song. Yeah. So let's see. Let me turn this down a little bit more. Let's see if I can get. No. that one wasn't bad. I felt like I was a little bit kind of a brain fart at the end there, but just like I was like, where am I going to go with this? But there was some themes, right? I start with that low theme, the E natural, and then I did another kind of like. I climbed up here. That's the little thing. Rhythmically more than right there again. So doing like a theme and variations allows you to kind of milk an idea and have familiarity bred right into the solo. So the first time you hear the solo, it sounds familiar because you're kind of quoting yourself. So, all right. What are your schedule for next Monday, Labor Day? I should be here. It's going to be blazing hot. My plan is to be around. Like I said, Beth is out of town. So my plan is to be here. I'll probably be working. So, but anyway, so that's that. And like I said, I've got to go because I've got a composer I work for a lot who's needs me to kind of hit this track. So there are two cues in a movie. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's see. One thing I can do, I can't play it for you. I can talk while I open it. So I'm going to save this. This is my Toto song. I call it Totally. Is what it's called at this point. Until it has a melody, it's called Totally. All right. Let me grab those files. What's today? 29th. Oops, no. I also have to eat something. All right, now let's open this. What is it? Okay, this. And go to Dropbox, find the tracks. Modify. There we go. All right, cool. So I'm going to open up the thing I did before and save, open up the sounds because they seem to like them. Where did I put the? Oh, they're there. Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm going to. All right. So I need to sign off. Put this over here. Don't need that right now. But thank you guys. Back to the salt mines or whatever. And then we'll, yeah, and next Monday, I don't know if I'll have a lesson. It just depends. I mean, if I think about it on Friday or Thursday, I can sit down with my laptop and come up with a lesson or something, create a track or something. But it's just oftentimes I don't think about it until like, oh, I got to get up in the morning and do that until Sunday night. So, and then last night I just didn't have time. So my coffee's almost to iced coffee time. So, all right. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next Monday. And I may drop a video this week. I've got a couple that one's a jam track for the harmonic minor thing, like the Spanish kind of pop thing. And then another is a video I did on how I got to 100,000 views, so or subscribers.